This is Joyram Bati, a small village in Bankura district, West Bengal. This has become a place of pilgrimage for innumerable devotees from all over the world. Joyram Bati's transformation from a small village to a pilgrimage of world renown is due to its association with the Holy Mother, Sri Sarada Devi, who was born in this village and spent a significant part of her life here. Sri Sarada Devi took birth to Ramchandra Mukhopadhyay and Shama Sundari Devi on Thursday, the 22nd of December 1853 in the evening. It was the 8th day of Posh, 1260 of the Bengali calendar. This is Ellapukur, a pond in the village at Shihor, about 4 kilometers away from the western side of Joyram Bati. On the eastern side of the pond, there lived a community of potters. They used to make earthen utensils for daily use. There is no existence of potter's kiln today. A large billow tree near the ancient temple stood next to their huts. In later years, the Holy Mother would relate an interesting anecdote about her birth. One evening, Shama Sundari Devi was sitting under an old billow tree near the ancient temple on the eastern side of the Ellapukur. Suddenly, she heard a loud metallic sound from the direction of the potter kiln. She saw a very pretty girl, about 5 to 6 years old, dressed in red silk, come down from the billow tree. The little girl came up to her, put her arms around her neck and said, "I've come to live with you, Mother." Shama Sundari Devi lost her consciousness. According to Sarada Devi, the little girl entered my mother's womb, and that is how I was born. Another billow tree stands at the same spot, and this sprouted from a root of that old tree. This beautiful temple at Joyram Bati was constructed on the very spot where Sarada Devi was born. Swami Sharodananda, one of Sri Ramakrishna's foremost disciples and Sarada Devi's dedicated attendant, laid the foundation of this temple on the 6th of Boishakh, 1330, that is, the 19th of April 1923, on the holy occasion of Akshay Tritiya. The marble statue of Sri Sarada Devi was installed on 8th April 1954, Bashanti Shukla Shoshti Tithi of the Bengali year 1360. The sacred remains of the Holy Mother have been laid inside the black marble platform in the temple. When the foundation work of this temple was being carried out, a small shivling along with a gori patta made of black stone was found. This is that shivling. In accordance with Swami Sharadananda's instructions, the shivling is kept and worshipped every day at the Holy Mother's temple. This is the room in the temple where the image of the Holy Mother is laid to rest every night. These footprints are of the Holy Mother. At the top of the temple is a metal flag with the Bengali word Ma, Mother, inscribed on it. It stands as an eternal invitation to all wayfarers to take refuge in the Mother's love. The small hut in which Sarada Devi was born and lived with her parents till she was 9 stood here. About 3.5 kilometers to the west of Joyrambati stands the Shantinath Shiva temple. The Shantinath Shiva temple is located at the center of Shihor village. It has been built along the architectural lines of the historical temples of Orissa. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna and the Holy Mother Sri Sarada Devi visited this temple often to offer their worship. Sarada Devi's maternal grandfather's house was to the north of this temple and of Ellapukur. No trace can be found today of this house, but this is the spot where the house stood. Only dilapidated ruins of the Tulsi Manch have survived today. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna's nephew Hridoyaram Mukhopadhyay used to live in this house at Shihor village to the south of the Shantinath Shiva temple. Sri Ramakrishna used to stay in this room during his visits to Hridoyaram's house. In those days, the room had a thatched roof. Hridoyaram's descendants have, over the years, made several changes to the original mud house that Sri Ramakrishna visited. It is believed that Sri Ramakrishna would use this cot during his visits to this house. This is where Hridoyaram's original Durga Mandap, the pavilion of worship of the goddess Durga, stood. It was a mud structure to begin with, but was later converted into a brick and mortar construction. One evening, a musical soiree had been arranged at Hridoyaram's house. Shyama Sundari, with her 3-year-old Sarada in her lap, was sitting behind the screen, listening to the songs. After the program was over, a lady asked the little Sarada, "You see so many people gathered here. Whom would you like to marry?" Instantly, the child raised both her hands and pointed to Sri Ramakrishna, who was sitting close by. Even without understanding what the word marriage meant, the little Sarada, in a moment of divine inspiration, chose the person who would be her husband. And through divine grace, her wish was fulfilled within a few years.
hitaya cha jagat hitaya krishnaya govindaya namo namah. He Krishna karuna sindhu deenabandhu jagatpati gopesha gopika kanto radha kanto namastuti.
ওরে ওরে তোর মেয়েকে নিয়ে আয় আরে ভাই আপনারা বাজান গো বাজান বাজান ওই মেয়েরা উঠে দাও 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 বাজাও
The 5-year-old Sarada Muni was wedded to Sri Ramakrishna, a young man of 23 at that time, on the very spot where Sri Sarada Devi's temple stands today. Immediately to the east of Sarada Devi's temple and right in the heart of Joyram Bati is an ancient pond by the name of Punya Pukur. The word Punya means holy. No one knows what the pond was originally called, but since Sarada Devi would use this pond most of the time, it has been named Punya Pukur. Of course, in those days, the banks of the pond had not been paved. On the western side of Punya Pukur stood 2 little thatched sheds facing the south. These sheds now have tin roofs. The family deity in Sarada Devi's father's household, a turtle-shaped idol named Sundar Narayan Dharmo Thakur, is worshipped here. The other room is called Kali Maro. Here, the goddess Kali used to be worshipped every year. This black stone is a symbol of goddess Shoshti. According to a village custom of those days, newlywed couples would come here to prostrate before goddess Shoshti. We can reasonably surmise that Sri Ramakrishna and Sarada Devi must have also come here to prostrate after they were married. Earlier, the idol stood under the open sky, but now it resides within this temple. In the veranda of the same temple where the village school in Joyram Bati was located. The little boys and girls of the village would come here morning and evening for their lessons. In the Holy Mother's own words, "When we were children, my brother Prasanna and a distant cousin Ramnath used to go to school. The mother said, sometimes I would also go with them. That is how I picked up a few lessons." After several changes of location, the same village school was finally shifted to this place in 1910 during Sarada Devi's lifetime to fulfill mother's wish that her children would get education through it. This is the oldest institution of the locality. This is the Amador River where Sarada Devi used to bathe occasionally. She used to say, "The Amodar is like the Ganges to us. I would go to bathe in the river with my brothers." We used to think of the river Amodar as our Ganges. After having a bath, we would sit together and have muri, that is, puffed rice, and then I would bring them home. I always had a fancy for the Ganga. This is where Sarada Devi's father Ramchandra Mukhopadhyay's last rites were performed. The last rites of Sarada Devi's mother, Shyama Sundari Devi, were also performed somewhere on the banks of the Amodor, but that spot has not been identified. When she was a child, Sarada Devi would go to the pond to cut dol ghash, a kind of grass that grew along the banks and was used as fodder for cattle. She would say, "When I was a child, I used to see another little girl just like me who would keep me company all the time and would help me in all that I did. But she would disappear whenever anyone else came near. This used to happen until I was about 10 or 11 years old." In 1864-65, that is 1271 by the Bengali calendar, the region around Joyrambati was hit by a terrible famine. Ramchandra Mukhopadhyay, Sarada Devi's father, was a poor man himself, but he was extremely perturbed by the suffering and starvation that he saw all around him. Without a thought for his own family's future, he brought out the stores of rice and kolai pulse and prepared huge quantities of khichdi, that is, kedgerry, for the hungry villagers. In the Holy Mother's own words, "They would ladle out hot khichdi, and I would fan the khichdi with both hands so that it would cool down quickly." The starving villagers were all waiting eagerly for the khichdi to be served to them. That year, their sufferings taught the villagers to keep a store of rice in their homes. A small hut used to stand at the spot where Sarada Devi's temple is located today. Since that hut was too small for his family, Sarada Devi's father, Ramchandra Mukhopadhyay, got this house built. Nowadays, this house is called Holy Mother's Old House. From about 1863 to 1915, for almost 52 years, the Holy Mother lived here. This was her room. She lived in this room. It is here that she initiated many devotees into spiritual life and conferred brahmacharya and sannyasa vows to monastic members.
Jaya Jaya Janani Jaya Sri Sharadamani Karuna Rupini Jaya Ma Jaya Jaya Janani Jaya Sri Sharadamani Karuna Rupini Jaya Ma Ata Shakati Parama Prakriti Ata Shakati Parama Prakriti Asharana Gati Tumi Ma Asharana Gati Tumi Ma
To the southwest of Holy Mother's old house, right by the roadside, lies a little pond called Kolugere. Sarada Devi and her brothers' families use this pond for their day-to-day needs, washing utensils and clothes, performing their daily ablutions, and so on. This is the famous goddess Shingo Bahini of Joyram Bate. The idol consists of a metallic pitcher surmounted by the goddess's visage. Shingo Bahini is actually the form of the goddess Jagadhatri or Durga. Shingo Bahini's idol has been placed in the center of the goddess's throne. On her right is the goddess Chundi, and to her left the goddess Mahamaya. On a separate platform to the goddess's left is another idol, that of Monosha. During Durga Puja and other occasions, the goddess is worshipped with great pomp and festivity for 3 days, and goats are sacrificed at the altar. Once, the Holy Mother was seriously ill. She took refuge at the feet of the goddess, determined not to give up until the disease was cured. The goddess Shingo Bahini appeared before Sarada Devi in the form of a 12-year-old girl from the blacksmith community. When the prescribed medicine was administered, Sarada Devi recovered completely on the very same day. Since then, says the Holy Mother, the glory of the goddess became well known. I have kept some earth from the temple in a pot. I take some of it myself and give a pinch of that earth to Radhu every day. Ever since, innumerable devotees carry away a little earth from the Shingo Bahini temple with great faith. A memorial has been built to mark the spot where Man Gaurobini lived. A lady of the village from the Sadgop caste, better known as Bhanu Pishi, Auntie Bhanu, she was very close to the Holy Mother. This is where her father's house stood. Bhanu Pishi was a devout soul and a childhood companion of Sarada Devi. She had deeply realized the unique divine quality of Sri Ramakrishna. In times of sorrow, Sarada Devi would visit Bhanu Pishi and find solace in her company. This reservoir was called Ahir Dighi. It has been cleaned up now and is now called Mayer Dighi, that is, Mother's large and deep pond. This is where Sarada Devi used to bathe when she was a child. The Holy Mother would come to this reservoir for a swim in her childhood and to gather grass for their cows. Ghoshpara is a neighborhood not too far to the west of the house where Sarada Devi lived. This is the temple of Jatra Siddhi Rai, the deity of the Ghosh family. Before setting out from this village on any journey, Sarada Devi would always offer her prayers at this temple. The black stone shown here is the emblem of Jatra Siddhi Rai. This is Birkanto Dharmo Thakur, a village deity of Joyram Bate. Sarada Devi used to visit this deity. Sarada Devi often visited nearby villages of Jeepta, Kotulpur, Deshra, Masinapur and Tajpur. At Tajpur, her niece Radhu's in-laws resided. In this Durga Mandap or pavilion of Radhu's in-laws, Goddess Durga is being continuously worshipped still today. It is the ruins of her in-laws' residence. Deshra, Kotulpur, Jeepta, Masinapur, In those days, the primary mode of transport was palanquin and bullock cart. This type of bullock cart was used by Sarada Devi. There is a speciality about the wheels of this cart. This is the old path between Kamarpukur and Joyram Bate in Sarada Devi's time. Nowadays, people use the new metalled road between Kamarpukur and Joyram Bate. Sarada Devi was married into a family that lived in Kamarpukur, a village in the Hooghly district that lies 6 kilometers to the east of Joyram Bate. In May 1859, that is, the month of Boishakh in the year 1266 of the Bengali calendar, Sarada Devi, who was 5 years old at that time, came to Kamarpukur with Sri Ramakrishna, her husband. Sarada Devi lived with Sri Ramakrishna in this room in their house at Kamarpukur. Even after Sri Ramakrishna left his mortal coil, Sarada Devi would stay in this room while at Kamarpukur. Sri Ramakrishna had instructed Sarada Devi to stay on at Kamarpukur after he passed away. No matter what arrangement the devotees make out of the love for you, don't let the house at Kamarpukur be ruined, he had said. The biggest of all the huts is the one next to the room that Sri Ramakrishna lived in. This hut faces the south and was once storied earlier. After Sri Ramakrishna passed away, his nephew Ramlal had a second story constructed. Sarada Devi also helped to pay for the construction expenses. The hut is currently used as a store for the temple at Kamarpukur. This is Haldar Pukur. In all likelihood, Haldarpukur was like this pond in those days. At Kamarpukur, when Sarada Devi was about 13 years old, she would feel very diffident about going to Haldarpukur on her own for a bath. She would come out of this back door shown here and hesitate to go further, thinking whether it would be appropriate for her, a newlywed bride, to go for a bath on her own. At this time, 8 other girls would arrive and accompany her to Haldarpukur. Later, they would accompany her back home after the bath. The Holy Mother would wonder who these girls were who appeared every day when it was time for her to bathe. She couldn't unravel this mystery. Neither did she ask these girls who they were. This used to happen every day. This vast expanse is known as Telo Bhelor Math. When one looks at this vast expanse, one's attention is captured by the ancient Kali temple. The area used to be infested with dacoits. Before setting out to loot people, the dacoits would offer their worship at this temple. Once, when Sarada Devi was going to Dakshineshwar to stay with Sri Ramakrishna, she had to cross this vast and notorious field. As evening came, she fell behind her companions who had hurried ahead. Suddenly, she saw a dark and towering figure armed with a stick coming towards her. She realized in a moment that this was a dacoit.
কোথা যাবে?
পূবে।
খেতে পথ নয়?
বাবা, আমার সঙ্গীরা আমায় ফেলে গেছে, আমি পথ ভুলেছি, তুমি আমায় সঙ্গে করে তাদের কাছে পৌঁছে দেবে?
ভয় নেই, আমার সাথে মেয়ে লোক আছে।
মা, আমি তোমার মেয়ে সারদা, সঙ্গীরা ফেলে গেছে, ভীষণ বিপদে পড়েছে।
That night, the dacoit and his wife took Sarada Devi to a grocer's shop like this in the adjoining village of Telua or Telogram. The Sri Ramakrishna Sarada Sevashram has been established at the site where the shop was located. A temple dedicated to Sarada Devi has been constructed at the location of Bhelo or Bhalia village where she encountered the dacoit. Bali Diwanganj was a prosperous port city situated on the banks of the river Darakeshwar. Once, Sri Ramakrishna, along with Sarada Devi and his nephew Hridoyaram, was travelling to Kamarpukur from Dakshineshwar along the river. At Bali Diwanganj, it rained incessantly for 3 days and nights, forcing them to take shelter in the newly built house of the Modaks. During his stay here, Sri Ramakrishna spent his time discussing spiritual matters with the local people. The house of the Modaks was ruined by devastating floods in the year 1978 and was later rebuilt by the Ramakrishna Mission. This is the famous Shiva temple at Tarakeshwar. Tarakeshwar is about 61 kilometers from Joyrambati. Sarada Devi first visited Tarakeshwar with her mother Shyama Sundari Devi, Lakshmi Didi and several others. She had once pledged her hair and nails to the deity, praying for recovery from an illness. Again, when Sri Ramakrishna fell ill at the Kashipur Uddanbati, Sarada Devi prostrated herself before the temple deity for 2 days, praying for his recovery. The twin villages of Koyapat and Bodonganj are located close to Phului Sham Bazar. This temple of Jogeshwar Shiva is located at Koyapat, Bodonganj. These villages are renowned for kirtan, the chanting of religious songs, and for a ritual treatment called Pile Dagano. This ritual treatment practiced by the Gaurs of Krishnaganj, who were weavers by profession. This small temple at the base of a banyan tree marks the spot where the Gaurs practiced their art of Pile Dagano. Sri Ramakrishna had visited this village to undergo this treatment. Sarada Devi too came here for the same purpose when she was suffering from malaria. After Sri Ramakrishna passed away, Sarada Devi spent her days in extreme financial distress at Kamarpukur. Even when her clothes were torn, she had to knot the torn portions and wear the same. While at Kashipur, her husband Sri Ramakrishna told her, "When I am no more, stay on at Kamarpukur. You can grow greens and live on a simple fare of rice and greens and spend your days chanting the name of the Lord. Don't ever ask anyone for even a farthing."
বিশ্বজননী সে যে ভিখারিণী জগতে তারিতে এলে মায়াবার বিশ্বজননী সে যে ভিখারিণী জগতে তারি
This tank, situated about 22 kilometers away from Kamarpukur and is popularly known as Ranjit Rai's Dighi, or a large tank. There is a legend that Devi Durga took birth as daughter of Ranjit Rai and disappeared into this tank. Sarada Devi took a dip in this tank on the holy occasion of Baruni. This is Vishalakhi temple, which was visited by Holy Mother on her way to Ranjit Rai's Dighi. This is Devi Vishalakhi. The Rath Yatra festival at Mahesh dates back to 600 years. Sri Ramakrishna visited Mahesh during Rath Yatra a number of times. On one occasion, Sarada Devi also came to Mahesh during Rath Yatra. She spent the entire day here and joined other devotees in pulling the chariot ropes. This is the house of Swami Premananda's father at Artpur in Hooghly district. On 5th February 1889, Sarada Devi visited Artpur, the birthplace of Swami Premananda, one of Sri Ramakrishna's closest disciples. She was accompanied by Swamis Vivekananda, Sharadananda, Jogananda, Abhedananda, Adbhutananda, Premananda, Shri Mo, Srimati Lakshmi Devi, and Shri Boikuntanath Channal. This is the room where Sarada Devi stayed while at Aadpur. Swami Vivekananda lived in this room during his stay at Aadpur.
Swami Vivekananda Jaya Jaya Swami Vivekananda Jaya Vireshwara Brahmahara Bhaskara
He used this cot.
Shiva Jaya Sukha Kanda Jaya Jaya Swami Vivekananda Jaya Jaya Swami Vivekananda.
Swami Premananda's family worshipped the goddess Durga in this pavilion. After a long hiatus, the Durga Puja was held here again from 1894 onwards. It was in this year that Sarada Devi came to Aadpur to attend the puja at the invitation of Swami Premananda's mother, Srimati Ma Ghosh. She sat and witnessed the puja in this pavilion. In the year 1886, Swami Vivekananda and his brother disciples were invited by Swami Premananda's mother, Ma Ghosh, for visiting her house before Christmas. This is the spot where, in the evening of 24th December 1886, Swami Vivekananda and his fellow brother disciples took the vows of renunciation in front of a sacrificial fire. Vishnupur, the present sub-divisional headquarters of Bankura district, was once the capital of the ancient Mollobhum kingdom, which was founded by Raghunath or Adi Mollo. It became the city of art and culture. Vishnupur Gharana or tradition of Dhrupad or Dhrubopodo became very famous at this time. In Bengal, the Vishnupur Gharana marks its separate identity and glory even today, like other traditional gharanas of Indian music. Today, the city stands on the ruins of its older self. Sri Ramakrishna once told Sarada Devi, Vishnupur is a hidden Vrindavan. It is still famous for its Baluchori and Shornochori sharis and also for terracotta. In those days, Vishnupur was connected to Kolkata by railway. Sarada Devi used to wait at the Vishnupur station for the train to Kolkata. She would often take her seat for rest under the shade of a jackfruit tree at the Vishnupur railway station till the arrival of the train. The trunk of that dead jackfruit tree is still existing now and stands encircled by a few other jackfruit and banyan trees. The devotees of the Holy Mother have placed here her photograph recently. Once, Sarada Devi was waiting at the station for the train to Kolkata. A Hindi-speaking porter, on seeing her, came up to her and said with great fervour, "You are my Janaki Mai herself. I have been searching you for so long. Where have you been all these years?" So saying, he began to weep. Sarada Devi consoled him and asked him to bring a flower for her. When the porter brought the flowers and offered them at her feet, she blessed him and initiated him into spiritual life. This house belongs to the Sen family of Gordorja in Vishnupur. On her way to and from the railway station at Vishnupur, Sarada Devi, along with her devotees, would rest here. This is the room which she used at the time. The Sen family uses it now as their shrine.
जातवेदसे सुनवामसो ममराति यतो निदहाति वेदः स नः पर्षदति दुर्गाणि विश्वानावेव सिन्धुन्दुरितात्यग्निः.
This staircase was used by the Holy Mother for entering her room. Sarada Devi would often sit in this balcony in Sureshwar Sen's house. This picture of Sarada Devi was taken on this balcony by Boshishwar Sen while she was taking her noon meal in February of 1920. The mother was on her way to Kolkata. This is the last picture of the Holy Mother Sarada Devi while she was alive. This temple of goddess Sharbamangala stands next to a large tank, Lal Bandh, at Vishnupur. This was excavated in the sweet memory of the lover of Mollo King II, Raghunath. Sarada Devi visited this temple on her way to and from the railway station at Vishnupur. These lakes are known as Poka Bandh and Krishna Bandh. The Holy Mother would occasionally take rest here on her way to and from the railway station at Vishnupur before Sureshwar Sen made arrangements for the mother to rest at his house. This is the forest of Jaipur, which Sarada Devi had to cross every time she travelled between Vishnupur and Joyrambati. This is Tatipukur or pond inside the Jaipur forest with a metal road by its side. Sarada Devi, on her way to and from Joyrambati and Vishnupur, would often halt in a rest house adjacent to Tatipukur for a rest. The ashram at Koalpara is about 8 kilometers to the north of Joyrambati. Sarada Devi used to refer to Koalpara ashram as her parlour. When travelling from Kolkata to Joyrambati, Sarada Devi would avail the train between Kolkata and Vishnupur. She would then take a bullock cart or hire a palanquin to go from Vishnupur to Joyrambati. On the way, she would rest for a while at Koalpara. This is the room that would be kept ready for her, and this is the cot where she would rest. At present, the image of Sri Ramakrishna is laid to rest in this room. The first time in this shrine, the Holy Mother herself publicly put up the photographs of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna and of her own. These photographs are kept behind the present ones within the same frame on this pedestal. This is the Nath Mandir at Koalpara. Devotees congregate here to witness the worship in the temple and during the prayers. Sarada Devi once wrote to her devotee Kedar Babu, "If you can arrange for a room for me at Koalpara, I could come and visit you now and then during my trips back home." Kedar Babu, who later became Swami Keshavananda of Ramakrishna order, constructed a house with 3 rooms, a shed and a lavatory. This house is now known as Jagadamba Ashram. This is the only room of the old Jagadamba Ashram which remains today. Sarada Devi stayed here for several days with Radhu, her niece. As the number of Sarada Devi's devotees grew, they could no longer be comfortably accommodated in her father's house, in the one that is known today as the mother's old house. This picture was taken at Joyrambati in 1913 by Brahmachari Ganindranath. It adorns the dining halls at many centers of the Ramakrishna Math and Mission. Swami Sharadananda purchased some land to the west of Punyapukur and had a small house constructed in 1915. This house came to be known as the Mother's New House. This is the first entrance ceremony picture of Holy Mother's newly built house at Joyrambati, taken on 15th May 1916. Sarada Devi lived in this 2-storied room. She used this room as a shrine also. It is here that she initiated many devotees into spiritual life and conferred brahmacharya and sannyasa vows to monastic members. For some years, Sarada Devi held the Jagadhatri Puja in this room. Her devotees used to live in this room in her time and continue to use it till date. These rooms are used by her devotees ever since her time. This is the door through which Sarada Devi used to pass on her way to Punyapukur for a bath or to wash utensils. At present, no one can reach the pond by this way. This is the spot where Sarada Devi's kitchen stood earlier. This no more exists today. The old photograph of the kitchen is also seen here. Around 200 meters south of the Holy Mother's temple, this sweet water pond is situated next to Joyrambati's main road. This is the pond named Baruchepukur at Joyrambati. Sarada Devi said, The water of Banujjipukur is sweet. I use it for drinking. Earlier, the pond was surrounded by palm or tal trees and was often referred to as Talpukur. This stretch of road lies to the north of Banujjipukur. Sarada Devi would often stand here and bid farewell to her devotees. She would wait here till her devotees were out of sight. The devotees would often turn back on the way and see the mother still standing there.
कृपां कुरु महादेवी सुतेषु प्रणतेषु च चरणाश्रयदानेन कृपामयि नमोऽस्तु ते.
This is the first photograph of the Holy Mother at her 45th year, taken by Mr. Harrington in the Bengali year 1305, corresponding to 1898 in the English calendar, at 10/2 Boshpara Lane, Bagh Bazar, Kolkata. The arrangement for taking the photograph was made by Mrs. Ole Bull. The next two photographs of the Holy Mother were also taken by Mr. Harrington and arranged by Mrs. Ole Bull at the same place and time. B. Dotto took this photograph of the Holy Mother at Bagh Bazaar, Kolkata in the Bengali year 1311 or 1905 AD. This is a group photo taken by B. Dotto at Bagh Bazaar, Kolkata on 22nd Choitro in the Bengali calendar year 1311, equivalent to 1905 AD. From left to right, Brahmachari Ganendranath and Ashutosh are standing, while Nolini, Holy Mother, Radhu and Lakshmi Devi are seen sitting. This is another photograph of the Holy Mother taken by B. Dotto at his studio at Chitpur Road, Bagh Bazaar in the Bengali year 1311, 22nd Choitro, corresponding to 1905 AD. This photograph was taken at Bagh Bazaar, Kolkata, circa 1905. B. Dotto took this photograph of the Holy Mother at his studio at Chitpur Road, Bagh Bazaar, Kolkata on 22nd Choitro in the Bengali year 1311, which is 1905 on the English calendar. Ashutosh Mitro desired to use this photograph for his book, but Swami Virojanando did not agree because he said that Mother was a little shaky and nervous when the photograph was taken. This picture was taken by B. Dotto in the Bengali year 1311 and in the English calendar 1905 at Chitpur Road, Bagh Bazaar, Kolkata, and subsequently it remained unused at that time. Swami Virojanando arranged for taking this photograph, and it was taken by Van Dyck at a studio on Chaurangi Road, Kolkata in Boishakh 1312 or June 1905 AD. B. Dotto took this photograph of the Mother in the Bengali year 1316 or 1909 AD. While the Mother was worshipping at the shrine in her bedroom at Udbodhan, that is, the Mother's house, Kolkata. This photo was taken by B. Dotto in the Bengali year 1316 or 1909 AD at Udbodhan, while Mother was worshipping at the shrine in her bedroom. This photograph is not identical to the earlier photograph, which would be evident from the different position of her hands. This is a group photo taken by B. Dotto at Udbodhan in Bengali year 1316 or 1909 AD. In the picture from left to right are seen Durga Ma, Radhu, Holy Mother, Maku, Kushum and Horir Ma. Brahmachari Ganendranath took this photograph of the Holy Mother in the Bengali year 1316, corresponding to 1909 AD at Udbodhan, while she was worshipping at the shrine. The next 5 photographs were taken by Brahmachari Ganendranath at Udbodhan in the Bengali year 1316 or 1909 AD. The next 2 pictures were taken in the same posture. This photograph was taken by Brahmachari Ganendranath in the Bengali year 1319, which is 1913 AD, while Holy Mother was meditating at the shrine at Udbodhan in Kolkata. The next picture was also taken by Brahmachari Gaunendranath on the same day, place and year as the previous one, while the mother was worshipping at her shrine. The mother was meditating at that time. Brahmachari Gaunendranath was setting up his box camera for another snap, and some noise was created by him in the process. Holy Mother opened her eyes due to the noise. Immediately, Brahmachari Gaunendranath said with folded hands, "Mother, I am taking a picture." Brahmachari Gaunendranath took this photograph of the mother and Radhu at Kumbhosthali Inn on their way to Joyram Bati in Falgun in 1319 on the Bengali calendar, that is 1913 AD. The next 5 photographs of Sarada Devi were also taken by Brahmachari Gaunendranath at Joyram Bati in Falgun 1319 on the Bengali calendar year, that is 1913 AD. This photograph of the Holy Mother and Radhu was taken by Brahmachari Gaunendranath at Joyram Bati in the Bengali calendar year 1324, corresponding to 1918 AD. The picture shown here is that of Holy Mother and Maku with her son Nara on her lap, taken by Brahmachari Gaunendranath at Joyram Bati in the Bengali calendar year 1324 or 1918 AD. This photograph of the Holy Mother was taken at Joyram Bati by Brahmachari Gaunendranath in the Bengali year 1324, which represents 1918 in the English calendar. This is the last picture of the Holy Mother taken while she was alive. From left to right are seen Holy Mother taking her noon meal, Radhu's mother Shurobala inside the room, Nolini, Nondorani, Jamani, Maku and wife of Nobashon. This picture was taken by Boshishwar Sen at the veranda of Sureshwar Sen's house at Bishnupur in Falgun 1326 on the Bengali calendar and 1920 AD on the English calendar, before the mother started her journey to Kolkata. Information regarding these photographs has been extracted from the book named Shri Ma by Ashutosh Mitro.